once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. We're going to get right on into it. All right, I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke this morning, you are doing well. All right, what we're going to be talking about today is I came across a few marriage quotes that I'm going to be discussing and or talking about or going over that I found that were very informative. They're very wonderful quotes. I like the quotes, so we're going to be talking about those and going over those briefly. Going over those briefly. Here's the first one that I came across. A good marriage is one where each partner secretly suspects they got the better deal, or each one suspects that they got the better deal. I've often, my wife and I, we've been married for over 33 years, and I still say that I was blessed to find such a wonderful person, such a caring person, and such a loving person, and a person that always trying to help somebody. So I think I got the better deal. All right. Here's another one. Happy is the man who finds a true friend, and far happier is he who finds that true friend in his wife. Again, my wife and I have been married over 33 years, and we are still good friends. And we've always been good friends. We can talk about different things. We can laugh about different things. We can cry about different things, and we don't mind being around each other, which is very important because you have so many married couples that can't stand to be around each other. Some even sleep in different bedrooms. It's crazy. All right, here we go again. Here's another one. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. I've always told my wife that I fall in love with her each and every time I find a reason or a purpose or just to love on her. And it has always worked out for us. It's always been such a wonderful thing, and I just enjoy being married. And you know what? And I've always said on this program, and I always hear people say, marriage ain't easy. They try to make it just seem like it's just so tedious. And we do the same thing with religion. We make it just seem so tedious. Why do people like to make things that can be simple, but just a little work? We try to make it seem like it's just so hard and unachievable. It's not unachievable. There's no such thing as, I've always said, there's no such thing as a perfect marriage, but there is where you work toward perfection. Just like being a Christian, there's no such thing as a perfect Christian, but you work toward being a perfect Christian. Every marriage has some flaws. You have some issues or some problems, but don't make it a big issue or a big problem. Same thing with religion. Don't make it a big issue or a big problem. Just work at it and move on. That's it. All right. Here's another one here. What counts in making a happy marriage is not so much how compatible you are, but how you deal with incompatibility. Being able to compromise, being able to, not always have to be right. You have some people that always want to be right. And when they're right, they make sure you know that they're right. I told you. It's not necessarily always. And a lot of times, just because you're right don't mean you have to say anything at that moment. It might not be the right time to say that you're right. And it might not, the truth, see the thing about the truth is used when it's necessary. The truth is used when it's beneficial to someone. You can't always tell the truth when it's not beneficial to someone. If you can tell the truth and hurt someone as well as telling the truth to help someone. For instance, if I saw someone that's overweight and I walked up to him and said, "Hey, you overweight, you know what, if you keep eating like this, you ain't gonna be here." That might be true, but that, you just hurt that person. You first of all, you judge them, and then you just hurt them. So just because it's the truth don't mean it's always the time to say it. And the same thing in a marriage. Just because you have the truth, just because you're right, does not mean it's the time to say it. You don't say that you're right, or bring it up that I told you, I told you. That's not the time to do that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you use the truth in a helpful and a meaningful time. And there's a time and a place for all things. Yeah, and sometimes it's not the time for that truth at that moment. You have to pick and choose the time that you're going to use the truth. And the same thing in ministry. That's why the Bible always compare marriage and ministry is the same thing, because you can't just say anything. And the same thing in a marriage, you just can't say anything just because you don't agree with your spouse. You can't just put her down. You just can't uh, put her down in public or put her down at home and make her feel bad, or make him feel bad. Or for one thing, it's discouraging. And we as humans, we have to be encouraged to do things. And part of being encouraging the person is motivating. You have to motivate them. Just like, for instance, if a wife wants her husband to do something around the house, he don't necessarily not that handy, or he can't, he's not a handy person, just put it that way. When he tries to do something, encourage him, then that way he'll try it the next time, and the next time he might get better and better. He'll Google it the next time, and he might get it right. So make sure, same thing with our children. You make sure you encourage them to do things. And when you encourage someone to do something, that sets the pace for them to be successful in life. And that same thing in a marriage. It sets the pace to have a successful marriage when you encourage each other. You might not always be compatible. Like, for instance, my wife and I, sometimes we like different types of movies, or things like that. She might like this sort of movie, and I might like that sort of movie. Every once in a while, we'll come together and we'll watch a movie together that we both can, watch together. Because she like reality shows. I don't like reality shows. But sometimes we will come together and and compromise. That's part of being uh, working with, just not being always, oh, we got so much in common. You don't always have everything in common with a person. That's why they always say opposites attract. That's what that means. All right. Here's another one here I like. Marriage is love. Love is the reason. Lifelong friendship is the gift. Kindness is the cause. Till death do us part is the length. Love is the reason. Lifelong friendship is the gift. When you have a wife, when you have lifelong friendship with that wife, you be there no matter what, no matter what circumstances come up, no matter what's going on in both of your lives. You stand by each other, you commit to each other, and you love on each other. It's sometimes, that I've always said, it's not hard. We make it hard. Marriage is not hard. It takes work, you know. And if you love something, it's never hard. Just like sometimes you have a job. And the same thing with a job. If you have a job that you like, it's never going to be hard because you love it. It might have hard work, but it's not a hard job because you enjoy what you're doing. And when you're in a marriage that you're enjoying yourself, you work at it. If there's issues in your marriage and you want it to work and you both are, still very much in love with each other, make sure you seek counseling. And I've always said that make sure you seek some kind of marriage counseling, a neutral party that you talk things over with, and you'll find out that the love is still there, and you'll find out that growth is still there. There's still room for growth in the marriage. So make sure that we're supporting each other. I've always stressed that in this program. Make sure you're supporting each other in whatever endeavors that you might encounter or come into or go into. Make sure you're supporting each other. Here's another one. Happy marriage looks to the future, not the past. That is so true. You do not keep looking back. It's okay to look back if there's something wonderful, if there's something that's beneficial, if there's something that's going to encourage you or motivate you to continue and to continue in that marriage as uh, uh, offsetting those things that were bad. So you don't want to look back into the past that things that were brought up or things that were bad or things that happened. And you want to try to forget those things or move past. You might not ever forget them, but you want to move past those things that cause issues in your marriage. You want to look forward. So a happy marriage, look to the future, not the past. So you want to look to the future where you want to build in your marriage. You want to look toward the future where you setting goals in your marriage. You want to be at this place at this time. Have a plan. I talked about that with my kids a while ago. Have a plan. It might not, our plan. God might laugh at it, but you still have to have something in place in order for Him to work from your plan. Because the Lord might work with your plan, and sometimes, or He might take your plan and take it to another level. He might take you to a place where you didn't think your plans would go or be even higher than but you anticipated. So make sure you have a plan for for the future in your marriage, where you want to go, if you want to buy a house, if you things like that. If you plan on having a family, make sure you plan for those things. And sometimes you might get deviated from your plan, but make sure that you have a plan. And same thing, that's a good idea to instill in our children to make sure that they have a plan. I plan on doing this, I plan on doing that. It might not happen the way you plan it, but you have something. Make sure you have something in place. That way you'll have something to work toward. And it also encourages you to go forward in whatever endeavor that you have when you have a plan. That's why you have to have, even in the ministry, you have to have some sort of plan where you want to do or how you're going to bring in people. And in the marriage, you want to have a plan how you're going to encourage your children. Make sure that you're encouraging each other and supporting each other in whatever endeavors that you might have in your marriages and things of that nature. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off here. And one of the things that I like about these quotes is you can look them up on Google, marriage quotes, and I've been doing a lot of research lately on marriage and quotes and how you can have a better relationship with your spouse. And because it's in this day and time, it's so much that are going on. There's so many distractions. There's so many things that are coming against marriage and family. There's so many people making it seem glamorous. Oh, I ain't got no chains tying me down. They want to make it seem like it's so glamorous not to have anyone. But you know what? When you have a spouse, when you can come home to a wonderful, wonderful wife, or you can be with a wonderful, wonderful wife, it's the best feeling. I'm telling you, it's the best feeling. But there's another thing. Don't make sure you don't force it. In other words, don't go out there and just marry anybody. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go out there and marry anybody. Make sure that the person that you are married or get hooked up with or hitched up with, how they say it, or jump the broom with, make sure that that person is the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Because marriage is a thing that's forever going on. It's forever going. So make sure that you are spending time with your spouse, getting to know them. Make sure you get to know them before you marry. And don't go marrying folks you don't know nothing about. And then all of a sudden you get surprises and things come up. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Make sure you know. You're not going to know everything about a person, but make sure you know all the major things about that person. That way you'll know that that person is for you. And and women, stop looking for husbands. Let the husband find you. Stop, like nowadays they make it where you go on the internet and find a man. Wait a minute, what? Yeah, now you can go on the internet and find a man, or a man can go on the internet and find a woman. Come on, people, make some sense. That what that that works. Because people can say anything on the internet. They can put down anything. Oh, I like children. I like pets, and make it just sound so good. But when you meet someone the old-fashioned way, you'll get a chance to know them and understand them, and especially especially if you're a Christian, you're in church. You want to make sure that you find someone that goes at least go to church. You have a chance of them attending church with you as well. That's why you have so many couples where one go to church, the other one don't go to church. That's aside from the fact that you have a spouse that might not like the church that you go to. That's a different story, and I've mentioned that in the program. If you have a spouse, let me mention it again. If you have a spouse that does not go to church with you, find out why they don't go, especially if they've been in church before. If they've never been in church, that's different. They didn't go to church before and they're not going to try to go now. They might go with you occasionally, but the ones that went to church before and all of a sudden they don't go, you need to find out why they don't go to church now, and what you can do to get them in church. If they want to go to a different church, or if they find a church that they like, go to that church. Because it's very important to go to church as a family, as a husband and wife. It's very important that you do that. But if your spouse, again, if your spouse does not like your church, have that conversation. Yeah, because sometimes he might have a legitimate reason why he don't want to go to church with you, and not always because he want to see the Bears play, because they don't always win. And if you go to the right church, you're going to be out of church before the game starts anyway. So that's not even an excuse. So make sure that you find out those things, and make sure we're supporting each other, make sure we're standing by each other. And again, honey, I love you. This is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off. Remember, all the music that you hear on here is we don't have any rights to the music. It's from Hoop Triggers Plus. It's an app that all churches should use or try if you don't, especially if you don't have any musicians. It'll work out wonderful for you. This is Pastor Larry signing off until we meet again with Let's Talk Marriage.